Welcome to this video on the present progressive tense in English. It's also important for you to know that this tense is also referred to as the present continuous tense. They are the same thing, okay? Present continuous and present progressive are both the same verb tense. You will hear me use both terms throughout this video. They are the same tense, okay? Let's begin. When do we use the present progressive or present continuous? It's used to indicate actions that are happening right now, which are usually temporary. Let's look at some examples. Right now, actions happening at this exact second. The teacher is speaking to the class. The teacher is speaking right now, this second, to the class. Actions that are temporary. Actions that are happening right now, but not forever. Let's look at this sentence. I am living with my cousin this month. Because we say this month, we indicate that this is not the forever plan. You can, however, use this tense, even though it's a present tense, for the future if you have definite arrangements for the near future. For example, we are meeting at the park tomorrow. There is a definite plan of the time and when you are meeting someone at the park. So you can say, we are meeting at the park tomorrow. We also use this tense when we're talking about things that are growing or changing. Situations, again, that are changing or evolving. The days are getting longer. Okay, as we get more sunlight, as we come out of winter. We also use this tense when we're talking about irritation. Okay, if you feel irritated, it means that you feel annoyed, bothered by something. So these are frequent habits that are annoying to you, usually that other people do. So, for example, if my family is trying to leave the house and my husband cannot find his keys, I might say, oh, he is always losing his keys. Is that actually true? Not really. But I'm trying to express how irritated or annoyed I am by the problem. So I say, he is always losing his keys. Okay. Good. Let's continue on. So again, this is the present progressive or present continuous verb tense. It is one of the most common tenses in English. We use this one and hear this one very often. And again, it is used to describe actions in motion, situations that are happening right now and usually are temporary. We change the verb, the to be verb, based on the subject of the sentence. So let's look at the formula for this tense. The formula is the subject, which is I, you, we, he, she, it, they, plus am, is, or are. This is the to be verb. So depending on your subject, you'd select am, is, or are. Okay, always. Then you add a verb with ing on the end. So let's look at some of the examples in the blue box here. I am eating. He, she, it is playing. You, we, they are shopping. So you can see in each of these examples, we've got the subject, I. We have the to be verb, am. And then the verb with ing on the end, eating. I am eating. He, she, it is, because that's the correct form of that verb with those subjects. He, she, it is playing. You, we, or they are shopping. Okay, so this is how you use and make this tense in English. So again, here's our formula. But as always, there are some special rules in English, especially referring to the spelling of words. So let's take a look at this. Okay? There are spelling rules for this part of the formula. Okay? You know your subject. I am sure that you all know how to use am, is, or are correctly in a sentence. But there are spelling rules for how to combine this verb with the ing on the end. Okay? So for most verbs, you're just going to add ing. If your verb ends in a consonant plus e, you drop the e and add ing. If your verb ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, you double, that means 2 times, the last letter and then add ing. And if the verb ends in ie, you change the ie to y and then add ing. I know that's a lot, so let's look at some examples together with each of these rules. So for most verbs, we're going to add ing. Walk becomes walking. I am walking to school today. Cook becomes cooking. He is cooking dinner at 5:00 p.m. Read becomes reading. I am reading a really interesting book right now. The next rule, if a verb ends in a consonant plus e, okay, so remember a consonant is anything that is not a vowel. So not A, E, I, O, or U, but every other letter in the English alphabet. Consonant plus e, we're going to drop the e and add ing. So let's take a look. Make, with the e on the end, becomes making. We are making cookies this weekend. Okay, so we took out the e and added ing, just like the rule states. Dance becomes dancing. They are dancing on the stage. And write becomes writing. She is writing a book this year. Let's continue. If a one-syllable verb ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, double the last letter and add ing. So let's break this down a little bit. One syllable is one chunk of sound in a word. So for example, my name is Kendra. I have 2 syllables in my name. Kendra. Okay. These verbs, run, sit, stop, are all one syllable. They're said in one sound group. Okay. So it has to be a one syllable verb and it has to be consonant, vowel, consonant. Now, if you've been studying English, I'm sure that you've learned word families. For example, the words cat, bat, hat, rat, sat. That would be the at family. C-A-T, R-A-T, right? All of those words rhyme, and it's an easier way to learn how to spell them. All of those words start with a consonant. Let's use cat as the example. C, then have a vowel, A, A-E-I-O-U would be the choices, and then T, another consonant, okay? Consonant, vowel, consonant, okay? So if you have this, you are going to double, which means 2 times, the last letter and add ing. So let's look at these examples. Run. This is consonant, vowel, consonant. It is one syllable, run. Becomes running with 2 N's, okay, 2 N's. The dog is running down the street, okay. Sit, consonant, vowel, consonant. Becomes sitting with 2 T's. She is sitting in the car. And stop. It's still one syllable, stop. And it ends with consonant, vowel, consonant. It becomes stopping with two P's. The train is stopping at the station. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. You will never double. You will never have two W's, X's, or Y's in one of these words. So, for example, play is just playing. There is not two Y's, okay? Snow, even though it has consonant, vowel, consonant, and it is one syllable, snow, we do not have two W's in the word. Snowing, we just add ing. And same with X. Fix becomes fixing. There's no two X's. So we do not have two W's, X's, or Y's in words in English, okay? So these ones are exceptions to the rule. Finally, if a verb ends in IE, change the IE to Y and add ing. So let's look. Die, we change the IE to Y, and die becomes dying. Lie with IE becomes lying with a Y. And tie becomes tying with a Y. Okay, so those are the spelling rules and examples for this verb tense. Something else to consider with this tense is that we have stative verbs in English. With these verbs, we usually don't use the present progressive tense. Sometimes you may hear it. It doesn't mean never. But usually we don't use the present progressive tense with these verbs. Feelings, thoughts, possession, or senses, okay? I really like this example to kind of show you why in a real way. So even if you're in class this second and you know the answer to a question, you would say, I know the answer. You wouldn't say, I am knowing the answer. That's not how we would say it, okay? So you would actually use present simple tense here, okay? Another one could be believe. We wouldn't say, I am believing. We would say, I believe, okay? Or we say, I understand, I remember. We don't usually say, I am remembering or I am understanding. Same with want. I am wanting. We just say, I want. We say what we want. Okay. So these are just some examples to think about. We don't usually use this tense with most of these verbs. Okay. With this tense, when we looked on that very first slide, we also realized that there are time clues. If you see these words in a sentence, you are most likely going to use this present progressive or present continuous tense. If you say right now, at the moment, currently, this week, this month, this year, right, that would indicate temporary. If someone says, look or listen, they want you to do it right now. So you will most likely be using this tense. Or if someone says today, right, again, it specifies a time and makes something temporary. Okay, so time clues. Listen for these words to tell you that the situation is temporary and happening right now. Since I made a video already on simple present tense, I wanted to show you this small chart to help us understand the difference by looking at both of these tenses at the same time, okay? So all of this information is about the simple present tense. And this information is about the present progressive, which is what I've talked about in this video, okay? So the simple present focuses on permanent or habitual, which means a habit, a routine, routine situations, okay? Present progressive is about things that are temporary, in progress, happening right now. An example, if the sentence is, I work in London, that implies that it is a permanent job. You're not expecting that to change. I work in London. That is what we're doing. If you say, I am working in London, it implies that it is temporary or that you are there for a short work project. So if you tell someone, I am working in London, they will say, oh, for how long? Okay, because it implies that it is temporary. If you say, I work in London, people will say, wow, that's really neat. And keywords to listen for. Always, usually, and every day indicate that something is a routine, a habit, okay, which goes with the simple present. If you have words like now, at the moment, currently, those indicate something that is more temporary, which goes with present progressive. Okay, so I just wanted you to see the difference between these two tenses since I've made now a video on both. Okay, and finally, just like in my other video on a verb tense, here is one slide that you can pause and look at and think about, okay? Because it shows every way to use this tense. Here's how to make a sentence, okay? Here's how to negate a sentence, make it negative with no or not. Here's how to ask questions, and here's how to answer those questions. So let's take a look. I'll walk you through. Just like we explained in this video, you have your subject, you have am, is, or are, and then you have a verb with ing. So here's their example. I am cooking. You are cooking. He is cooking. She is cooking. It is cooking. We are cooking. They are cooking. Now, if you want to negate a sentence, you have the subject, the am, is, or are, and then not right before your ing verb. So if you want to say no or not, you say, I am not cooking. You are not cooking. He is not cooking. She is not cooking. It is not cooking. We are not cooking. They are not cooking. Okay? And if you want to ask a question, you take your subject, right? Here's the subjects up here, and your am, is, or are, your to be verb, and you switch them. Now we're going to begin with the am, is, or are, have the subject second, and then our ing verb if we're asking a question. Am I cooking? Are you cooking? Is he cooking? Is she cooking? Is it cooking? Are we cooking? Are they cooking? Okay, so that's how to ask a question. And then how to answer. You could just say yes or no. But a more formal way would be to complete that sentence. Am I cooking? Yes, I am. Are you cooking? No, you are not. So on this side is how to say no, and on this side is how to say yes. So again, this is a great slide to pause on and look at, especially if you're working on making questions or something that's new to you. Thank you for watching this video.